Bine ai venit la Carieră 360, un podcast gândit și creat special pentru tine. Suntem aici pentru a răspunde tuturor întrebărilor tale legate de carieră, precum ce carieră să încep, cum pot să primești jobul dorit sau cum să-mi schimb domeniul. La Carieră 360 niciun topic nu rămâne nedezbătut.
Hello, today we're going to have a new episode of Career 360, a podcast Hipo.ro. And today we're going to be talking about how to choose the right job for you. Our guests today are Bogdan Matei, Product Manager, Florentina Sarov, Senior Experience Designer, and Bogdan Balaceanu, Software Development Manager. Hi, everyone, and thank you for accepting our invitation today.
Hello.
Would you like to introduce yourself and say just a few things about maybe yourself or your hobbies, your career? Bogdan, what do you think?
I can go first. Hello, I am Bogdan. I work in IT for more than 10 years now, 11, close to 11, and I am actually passionate about programming since I was around 10 years old, so that's quite a lot. Florentina, what about you?
I am Florentina, and I'm super glad to be here. I'm an experienced designer, and I have a background in architecture and urban planning. But what is most important thing about me is that I'm really passionate about the human psyche. I'm really curious about how we think, how we make decisions, how we interact, what's underneath our way of deciding things, and I realize that this helps me a lot in my work because I develop listening skills and help me identify the right problems.
Great.
Hey everyone, I'm Bogdan Matei. I'm a product manager at Autodesk, and I've been in IT only for 3 and something years, but one of my big, let's call it a passion, is problem solving, and hey, this is what you gotta do.
Well, we have 2 Bogdan today, and one is somewhat, if I could say in the beginning, 3 years is not really the beginning of career, but it's closer than 10 years. So we have the 2 Bogdan with the 2 different experiences. So now the next question is, because we're talking about knowing if you chose the right job for you and when and how do you know if you did that? What about in your case? When did you know that IT was the job for you? Bogdan Matei.
Well, I think as a person, right? If you're excited to go to work, then it's probably the right job for you. If you don't just have to go, I have to wake up and go there again and spend 8 hours, 9 hours, whatever, and then go back home. This was when I knew that, hey, this is the right thing. And related to what I said earlier, when you get that feeling of accomplishment, when you solve a problem, it's better than any, I don't know, bonus or pay raise or.
Yeah, it makes your day.
Yeah.
So let's hear the side of the 10-year experience. After 10 years, do you still feel it was the right choice for you?
Yeah, definitely, it was the right choice for me. I have a career. Well, I started in Autodesk 9 years ago, so most of my career was actually in this company. And when I started, I was a software engineer for 2 years, so at the beginning of my career. And I learned a lot, and I added more and more in my technical background. And then because I noticed everyone was growing also very fast, I had some passion about helping my colleagues to organize, to coordinate. I then picked the Scrum Master job, which helped me to learn a bit about leadership. It's very interesting because in Scrum you have this notion of servant leader, so basically being a leader without authority, which has its challenges, let's say. And at some point I decided that the software development manager is the right career path for me. We can talk more about career paths, but I think let's not open with that.
Okay. And what about Florentina? Do you feel that excitement that Bogdan was saying in the morning when you got to work? Do you feel like when did you know that this was the right job for you?
Well, for me, it was a bit different. I was looking for meaning in a sense that I think design is about empowering people. And for me, this is the essence of my work, is to create something that empowers people, that give them the right tools to design and create and manifest their own ideas. And basically, this is what Autodesk mission is, to empower people with design and the right tools. And during my career, I thought a lot about this need of the meaning. And of course, it's the other thing about excitement. And it's true. I would also add this, but also the meaning, because there are times when maybe you don't like a specific part that you need to do, but you focus on this and go to the next step, and this keep you engaged, and for me that was the main motivation.
So then that's how you knew that was the right job for you. Well, because we're talking about how do you know, and we have many people that listen to us that are in the beginning of their career, or maybe they're working in a different field and they would like to change to IT. So they're wondering how will they know if it's right for them or not. What do you think is the recipe for finding the right job, if the job is for you or not?
I think, from my perspective, the first thing is to know yourself, your needs, what excites you, what are your strengths, your weaknesses, uh, or and starting from there, you start you begin to look, because once you have the direction, you can find what is best for you. So I don't have a recipe. Maybe my colleagues could share more about recipes, but this is the starting point for me.
So basically, yes, sorry. I was
Yeah,
saying it sounds
yeah.
to be like a recipe too, finding what you enjoy to do and then finding the skills that you're good at. But let's hear Bogdan's opinion. What is his recipe?
Yeah, well, I can give a personal example. So I have been working in the industry that Autodesk is making software for I don't know, 10, 15 years. But when I joined Autodesk on the other side of the fence, right, I had to develop the software. There was this huge imposter syndrome because I never had any agile development experience. I never worked with programmers in my life, but that was so. Yeah, I was stressed, but at the same time, I had the support that I needed, and then I found out, yes, this is what I want to do. So sometimes it's a fluke when you get it.
Yes, and I like that you mentioned the imposter syndrome, because I think this is something that we fight with maybe throughout our career, but I think especially in the first years, and even more so in the first year of our career, we're probably we know we've heard this a lot of people saying, sometimes I'm wondering, am I even supposed to be here? So I like that you've mentioned that. But Bogdan has 10 years experience in this in Autodesk in this position, so I think he can tell us the recipe, the ultimate recipe.
Well, when we discuss about recipes, it's about ingredients and it's about quantities, right? How much of each ingredient. And I want to say, in my opinion, the ingredients are the team, so the people you work with, the products, so you understand you have a purpose, you like what you are doing, you feel how you can change the world. And I think Autodesk it's helping a lot in this area, because we are actually doing the products that help us shape the world. And of course, it's about the culture, the company culture, and it's about liking the job, what you are actually doing day to day, as we said. But when it's about quantities, I think this differs from person to person. I wouldn't say exactly how you can quantify it. I think it can be a very different recipe. So it's from individual to individual, and I noticed that for a senior developer, for example, the product is very important and the culture of the company is very important. While for a junior developer, it's about what he can learn on the job, what's the technologies he will learn, how he will develop really fast, and how he will grow in what direction.
So one of the questions that we get often is that people wonder if finding the right job is just trying different jobs. And the question is, does it look bad if you change jobs quite frequently, especially in the first years of your career? And what's like an okay rate that you can do that? Like, can you have a new job every 6 months and use that on your CV, or that would look a little bit bad and maybe you should take a bit more time?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. I don't think there's a rate or a recipe for this, like when to change the job, what's the perfect time for it. In my opinion, it's about what you learn on each job. So if you keep growing and growing with each job, that's very, very important. I've met people that in 5 years change, I don't know, 3 jobs, but all the time they learn new things, they understood the technologies, so they added on top of what they already knew. While I've also met people who changed the same amount of jobs, but actually they were doing the same job over and over again. So they were leaving exactly when they could grow in that company. So that's why I'm saying it depends on the people, it depends on the individual, depends on how much you learn, depends on if you think you have gathered enough information right now, and it's about this depth of your knowledge, let's say.
Yes, so basically it's okay if you change, but always improve and grow in what you learn. Because if you change many times, but you're always in the same place, then that could bring up a question. That's quite interesting. Florentina, what do you think about it? Do you think for you would matter if you see someone that you like to recruit in your team, and it seems like this person kind of jumped from a job to another quite often last years?
I think it doesn't really matter how many times a person changes his job, but it could lead us to some questions, because basically what is really important is to understand why that person changed the job. Might be a good sign, might be not. It depends, because let's take the positive perspective. Maybe the reason why that person changed the job is that he knew that he doesn't belong there and he was looking for something better. But it might not be the same. You might be confused, and that's why you changed. So it really matters to understand the reason behind this.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we're talking about finding the right job for yourself, but what about the right employer? Do you think that it is as important as finding the right job? And how maybe did you know, and why is Autodesk the right employer for you?
I could start on this one, and maybe Bogdan and Florentina can comment also. Yes, I think the right employer matters a lot. On one hand, you have your own desire or your own skills, and you find the right job. But if the employer doesn't support you, don't have a good work-life balance. We just went through a pandemic, right? Everything was hard for everyone, and the opportunities and the support we had from Autodesk was huge. So we could actually do our job. We didn't miss anything. Everything was great. So this is very I think it's very important to have a combination of both.
Of the two. What about for you, Florentina? How why is Autodesk the right employer for you?
Um, I think I have very much to add to this question because I'm a new employee. I have only about 1 year at Autodesk, and my experience was really good. I been hired in the middle of the pandemic. I had a 2-year-old son, and basically Autodesk support me a lot. I mean, flexibility was for real. I was able to do my job while also raising a little child, which came with its own challenges. And as for the work that I do, the design part, I was uh, supported by my colleagues. For example, all the people in Autodesk are trained in design thinking methodology. This means that my work is easier. So I don't have to explain over and over again why we go through this process, why we need it. People understand, and it becomes a more easier process to create products. And also, I'd like to mention here the communication with our clients. We have an entire department, the research department, which handles this part, and basically having this possibility to talk with our clients on the entire process of development helps us have a better understanding of their problem, of what we're doing there. And if the organization supports this, basically it supports our work. We can do our job better.
Yeah, that is great. Bogdan, do you have anything you would like to add to this?
Well, I can add the perspective of hiring manager, let's say, to this. So what we are trying to do is to actually offer all this flexibility that was mentioned and make sure that people actually feel supported. It's not only, let's say, we have a flexible work program. I'm actually saying to my teams, for example, I'm saying to them, look, you can organize yourself. Just be sure you are there for your team. You don't need to tell me if you are missing a few hours per day. It's not necessary. We don't need to have this kind of relationship. Of course, if someone needs you, for example, you had a pair programming. Let's say you are a software engineer and you had a pair programming session with a colleague scheduled. It's good to announce him. Look, I can't come there. Something came up. It's okay. Also related to this, I want to say that we are looking to create an environment where everyone can grow and develop, every individual. We have a very good learning experience in Autodesk. We are supporting it. We have subscriptions to different learning platforms. But other than this, for example, this year we had 2 sessions of Recharge Sprint. Recharge Sprint is a 2-week period where you can pick one project or one theme or one subject that you are interested in and basically use that time to develop yourself in that direction. And from this, we've seen a lot of cool projects that people learned. We saw a lot of new technologies that people learned. So every type of interest was accepted, and it was a very good experience also for Autodesk because people are developing in multiple ways. They are not only going on one direction, and we can be flexible in our careers and the way we choose it.
Yes, that sounds very interesting. And one fact that you mentioned is that we were asking participants at Engagement and also in one of our studies that we make every year about people that search for jobs, what they're most interested. And we found that especially in the younger applicants, the main thing for them was flexibility. And sometimes companies, they felt like they were being misunderstood. It wasn't that they didn't want to do the job, but they wanted a place of work where they could have this flexibility of maybe today I need to finish half an hour earlier, but I'll stay and I'll do it tomorrow. So it's amazing that Autodesk does offer this flexible environment, that it's obvious that it's really in demand right now. especially in the younger crowd. So we were talking about the right employer, and sometimes people apply for jobs. They go to the interview, they realize, okay, this might not really be the right employer or the right job, but the salary and the offer is really good. What should they do? Should they take a job that offers them a great salary that they realize they might not be the best for, or should they turn it down?
I believe that a job is more than the salary. Of course, it matters. All the benefits they count, but we shouldn't stick only to this. Once we have the base, or if the, I don't know, salary is good for us, we should think about the other things that a job supposes. The relationship with maybe our team, the culture of the company, which is really important to our mental health, to our sense of belonging, and even how we experience our daily life, because we work for um, half for 8 hours a day. So this is for me. This is really important. It's basically is that counts the most when talking to the experience of work.
What do you think, Bogdan, you're a hiring manager? Do you try to convince people with a great salary, or do you think that if the person realizes it's not the right job, you shouldn't do that?
Well, first of all, I try to understand myself if it's the right job for him. That's a very important step of the hiring process, and I can actually discuss just a bit about the hiring process. So after, let's say, we have the applicants, either if we found them or they found us. After they do the first introductory interview, usually with our recruitment team, where they tell them more details about the job and about the technologies and every other questions they might have. We as a hiring managers try to keep the whole process at 2 weeks maximum, let's say. So from when you have the first interview until you receive the offer, we try to keep it to 2 weeks, because we had experience in the past when we received this kind of feedback, like, look, the process is a bit too long and I didn't know exactly what were the steps. And also another thing, we are trying to keep them always informed with the status, like what is the next step and what we are going to do. But yes, other than the technical skills, we always try to explain to people, look, this is our culture, this is where you will come, this is what we can offer. We can offer you an environment where you can grow and develop also as an individual, also on the technical aspects. We have all this, like we said, this growth and development focus as managers and as a company. This is part of our culture, and we of course have very good budgets. Let's say we actually support this to our people. They can go to trainings each quarter, they can go to conferences. I actually have one of my team members right now in a software development conference in San Francisco, which is one of the top conferences in the world. And yeah, in my opinion, both sides should try to understand if it's the right job for him, because if it's not, you probably won't feel motivated. Even the money motivates you for a while, or let's say the benefit package as a whole. But other than this, you need to feel that you want to do that job. For example, for me personally, I really think that by working on Revit, because I work on this product, Revit, I am doing the world a better place. This is something that I actually believe, and that's why I keep doing what I'm doing.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think that we do have to find that value within ourselves in the work we do. If not, it's hard to go throughout the years and do the work with passion. And what I've noticed lately that I really think it's great is that employers, especially in the IT department, have listened to the applicants' feedback, and they have reduced the hiring process, because we had received in the past a lot of feedback that the hiring process in IT especially was very long, and they felt overwhelmed by it. So it's great that Autodesk also listened to this feedback and just reduced and made it clear the steps and keeps people informed while they're applying, because it's true, applying to a job, it is quite nerve-wracking, right? Like you don't know what's going to happen, what's next, how long is this going to take, when I'm going to find out. So it's really great to hear that you guys set up this period where you keep them informed. So once we decide that this is the right job for us, and we were talking in the beginning that a lot of people also more recently are changing domains. They're changing the field of work from maybe something else to IT. So let's say they've decided that this is something they want to do, that is right for them. How do they know what are the right skills? And then how do they go about getting those skills? Maybe Bogdan Matei, since you're a bit newer in the IT, you can tell us, how did you find out what were the right skills and how did you get them?
Yeah, I think there are two facets here. The first one and the most important one is the will to develop, right? The person's will to develop, and the second one indeed is it might be provided by the employer with, hey, you need some training, we can provide that for you, or even better. I think this is the biggest one. If you can find a mentor that can guide you through your developing your skills or your career path, that's also one of the biggest advantages you could find. But it all boils down to, hey, I want to develop. If I can find some support from where I am now, it's a good recipe.
And what do you think? Maybe the other Bogdan. Let's say that there is someone right in the beginning. They're maybe in university. Maybe they're not going to. They're not studying in a degree that is IT oriented, and they're realizing that they would like to work in IT. How do you think they could start maybe gathering some skills during this time so they can start their career?
Well, if we are talking about a career reconvention, let's say reconversion, I think a good idea would be to work on an actual project, either with some friends, either on your own. So you start developing the skills, but also you need to apply them to make sure you understood and they are, let's say, established in your mind. Like, look, I understand this and now I know how to use it. I understand this technology and now I know how to use this. I worked on this project. And also this helps you to develop a portfolio, especially for students. This is very useful. I saw a lot of students lately who have a GitHub repository and they can show it to you. They can tell you, look, this is what I worked on. This is how my code looks and things like this. And this is something great to see because yeah, it's also much easier now with the internet and the world being connected all the time. It's much easier to have access to this kind of repositories all the time and be able to show your skills to an employer. So yeah, I think working on an actual project while developing the skills helps a lot to do this.
And how do you think, Bogdan mentioned earlier about finding a mentor? How do you think somebody in the beginning of their career, how could they find a mentor? Do they go on LinkedIn, search someone that they like, and they say, "Hey, would you like to be my mentor?" Or how do you do that?
Well, I don't know if you are hired in Autodesk. I can say that we have programs that where you can find a mentor from Autodesk or even from outside Autodesk if it's a skill that, let's say, it's not in Autodesk. And you can work with him on what you want, what you are trying to develop, and he can give you advices all the time and try to let's say set the next steps with you and help you even when you are down. Like, look, I tried what you said, but it didn't work. Okay, let's try these steps. This is something we as managers do as well, of course, but in some cases when people require some skills that we don't have, let's say, or we don't know if we are the right person to teach them, then it's better to have this. Also, in the first 3 months at least, we have an onboarding partner, we call it, that will help you navigate through Autodesk processes, technologies, and everything in between, let's say.
Yes. And Florentina, because you're from a bit more over the design side, could you tell us how do you think a person that would like to follow your career path, how could they find out what are the skills required and how could they go about getting those skills?
Well, if we're talking about Autodesk, but not necessarily, I would mention that communication is very important for design. I mentioned earlier about Autodesk because I want to refer my experience with it. For example, we have design critics sessions, basically meetings in which all the designers gather and we look for feedback. These are casual sessions, but they are really important for us. Basically, as long as we're able to communicate what we're trying to do, we can get feedback and improve our work. So we don't have to make it perfect. We have the right context to get together feedback to improve. Also, I'd like to talk about my experience with a skill that I didn't feel very confident in it. I needed to facilitate some meetings, and we had a coaching program, and I had I think three sessions, and this helped me a lot. Do it, and also with the support of the team, I was able to improve that skill. So, as long I would return back to what I said earlier, as long as we are able to communicate efficiently, to look for help, to have an open mind, to be curious, I think we can improve the problem solving skills, the basic, the skills that you need for the design process.
That's great. So now we've mentioned so many reasons why Autodesk could be the right employer for somebody that wants to work in IT, right? They have a flexible program, you have mentorship programs, and there are really many great things. But so probably people are now wondering, okay, do you have jobs available and what are you recruiting for at the moment?
I can answer that. So we do have jobs. Software developer, it's one of the main ones, let's say. This is both in desktop application and in full stack. We also have quality analyst, which is another job that, let's say, it's one of the basis for software development. Product owner, it's one job that we have open from time to time. I think right now we do not have an open position in that, but we might. User experience, it's a job that I think we have open right now. So a colleague for Florentina. And what else is there? I think these are the main ones. But you can always check our career site. We have Autodesk Careers. If you write on Google or if you go directly there, you can filter by location, by type of job, and you can see careers from all over the world. And like we said, now with working remotely and everything like that, who knows? Maybe you can find a job that's attractive to you and it's in another country. That's still a possibility, and it's very good to check it out.
Yes, and we will leave in the comments section also a link to your profile on Hipo.ro, so they can see all the available jobs that we have there and they can apply. As I said, we do have quite a lot of people in the entry level part. So let's say people that are at the beginning of their career, maybe they're still studying, or maybe they are just finished an internship, or maybe they're looking for a program. Do you have any special programs for entry level?
Yeah, we do. But before discussing about our internship program, I would like to discuss about something extra, let's say. So if you see a job that requires, I don't know, 3 years of experience, maybe 4 years of experience, and you have 0 years or 1 year of experience, I would say to still apply for it, especially if it's in Autodesk, because there are cases when we do not find the right candidate for us in that level of experience. We usually do not even add years of experience, but we might from time to time. And in that case, we might decide, look, we have this candidate with a lot of potential. He does not meet recommended, let's say, experience that we need, but it's better to help him grow into this job than to try to pick the candidate that might not be right for us, let's say, like we already mentioned what it means to be a right candidate.
Yeah, that's amazing, because so often we have this question and the fear. We hear people, I would love to apply to this job, but they're asking for 3 years experience, and I don't have that. So it's amazing what you've mentioned, that if you see a job that you think would be your ideal job, your dream job, and you're willing to develop, then still apply. And maybe Bogdan here is going to help you grow into that position. So that's really amazing. And what about the internship or entry level programs that you have?
Yeah, we have an internship program. Actually, this year just finished. It starts around, well, the registration for it starts around February, March. After we have the pool of candidates, we send an technical test, let's say, online. It's online. It's in different languages. I think the students already know this type of test, because from my discussions with them in Angajator de Top, they were, I know what you mean. And after that, after we check the results on those tests, we have a few of them going to interviews, or more than a few, around 20, 30, depends on the results. And then we pick, depending on how many internship positions we have opened, we pick those, and they go to teams and work on the projects or work on some internship project. We'll see. But the main idea is that we try to integrate them in our teams and to teach them exactly how we work, so they see exactly what it means to work in this industry and what it's like in a day-to-day job. What I would also like to mention is that last year we had 3 interns, and all 3 of them are now our colleagues. Well, this year, not last year. I was thinking that the internship program finished. That's why I was saying last year.
Yeah, that's great. So they've remained. So what does an intern do at Autodesk? Does he go to get coffee, or what does he do once he's becoming part of the team?
This they didn't do yet, from what I know. But they become a part of the team. They take part in all our, let's say, agile processes, so our team meetings. But other than this, they will start exactly like a new employee starts. So they will start with some trainings, both technical and also related to our culture. And then they actually, depending on the team, they might have a special project for interns. That's something with new technologies like VR or augmented reality or 3D printers. Or they might have a team, they might work with the team on their project and see exactly what are the types of the problems we are trying to solve daily, let's say. Well, if someone is interested, I would like to add one more thing. The internship lasts around 4 months, and it's part-time, and it's also paid part-time. And we are very flexible with your schedule, like for example, when you have exams, we can understand you can take a few days off and things like this. It's normal. We feel it's just part of your student life.
It's amazing. So it sounds like Autodesk does have positions for entry level, for students, and for people with for professionals with experience. And it does sound like you do offer a lot of support for people that start their career, even if they're at the younger age or they're just changing their domains. And I'm going to invite everyone to check out their, as we said, their career site, and we will leave in a comment down below the link as well. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always leave them in the comments, and we will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Now, I want to thank you very much for being with us today in Career 360 in our podcast. And I'm hoping to see you again as well in spring. As you said, in spring, you do have the new internship programs. So we hope to hear more about those next year in spring. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And I wish you all a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Bye.
Bye.